I could have written you better. Really, really whiny little bitch boy, and who I affectionately call Christian Grey reboot characters. I couldn't give any less of a fuck. Cassian deserves better. What's up, guys? My name's Lulu, and these are my books. Today, we're going to be talking about characters that I absolutely fucking despise. This is actually not as extensive as a list as I thought there would be. However, I recently came to like the realization that there is just some characters, they aren't villains, they aren't like meant to be the big bads in their books. However, they are characters that A, either piss me off, or B, are so badly written that I just cannot like them in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm literally looking at this character and I'm like, I could have written you better. It's one of those things for me. I'm also wearing my Sashomaru blanket hoodie, if you watch the vlog. If you haven't, it'll be in the description. Anyways, other than that, we're going to be talking about characters that I fucking despise. I just cannot with these characters, man. Like, thanks, son. So let's get started, because we're starting with... I've been very open about my dislike of this character. Nina from Six of Crows. Specifically, there's a very specific reason why I don't like Nina, and it is because I feel like she takes advantage of Matthias. This is going to have some minor spoilers, but throughout the course of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, Nina and Matthias have this kind of off and on, kind of like rivals to lovers type of thing, enemies to lovers kind of thing, which is honestly the only enemies to lovers kind of like connection thing that I actually like don't hate with a burning passion. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever they're doing, it's fine.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Right? Lee Bardugo actually does very well with that. My problem comes from the fact that Matthias is so much less experienced than Nina is in the romance department because of his culture. The way I think about it is like Nina is like some feminist city girl, while Matthias came right out of like some sort of Mormon cult. Like, I'm not gonna say that the Fjordans are a cult of any kind, but they obviously have much more modest values, and Matthias grew up with that, and so Nina kind of inserting herself into his life, like, yes, that could be a good thing. However, the way she does it rubs me the wrong way, very specifically, simply because there are some points where Nina is quite literally just like, if he wasn't so, like, there's this one line from Crooked Kingdom that I'm thinking about, but I cannot remember it. Hold on. Okay, I'm not even joking. Like, I opened the Crooked Kingdom book, and immediately, page 192, well, of my edition anyways, is the line that I was thinking of. Like, it just split open to that. But it's this line that kind of solidifies that I don't like Nina for this specific reason. Nothing. Really, nothing. She'd educate Matthias on innuendo another time. Or maybe she wouldn't. He was so much more fun when he was completely oblivious. And I'm like, that's not cute. That is not some hot girl shit from you, Nina. I get why people like them as a couple. I get it. Their dichotomy is really good and their banter is also pretty decent. However, Nina being so brazen about the fact that he has pretty much no experience in matters of romance or anything like that, and her essentially manipulating him by not explaining what he's supposed to get, by using these phrases with him that he does not understand and would literally take at face value, even though he doesn't understand them, even though she's trying to enter a sexual relationship with him, does not rub me the right way. I wouldn't go as far as to call it grooming. However, it does feel like she's grooming him. And I don't appreciate that. If you flip that context, game over for Matthias. Matthias would be literally the worst character in Six of Crows. And I don't like Nina for this. I really don't, because Matthias is obviously completely oblivious. Obviously, he's very completely oblivious to whatever Nina's doing. However, he does know that he wants to be with her. He does know that he wants to be with her in the simplest way that he's thinking about it. And Nina wants more from him, but she's not willing to explain that to him. She's just kind of like force herself there. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. At least I didn't like the way it was portrayed. I may be missing something, but the way I understood it, it just wasn't cute. And honestly, I think I like Six of Crows better without thinking of any of the characters getting together. Except for Jesper and Wylan, but that's an entirely different thing. Because Jesper and Wylan are, they didn't even, want to get together. Like, that shit just happened. Yeah. But, even then, they're not officially together by the end of the books. So, But that's a completely different thing. We're talking about characters I don't like today. Next character. Okay. So this is going to be kind of an inaccurate representation because I only read the first book of the series. But, I read the first book and half of the second one, and I haven't picked up the series again. Juliet from Shatter Me. See, here's something interesting about this character. I liked her development throughout book 1. I really did. I really liked how she kind of just, came into her, abilities, into coming into, her own independence and whatnot. What I didn't exactly like was the fact that she and, what was his name, Adam, they were literally all over each other. The entire fucking book. It made no sense for the context because they were literally running away because, she's kind of a runaway bride. But they really, 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 really should not have been all over each other the way they were. But either way, I have no strong feelings towards Adam because he was honestly kind of forgettable, not gonna lie. But Juliet in particular, I liked her development throughout book 1. And she just kind of went with the flow. She was really naive throughout book 1. But eventually at some point she kind of gets thrust into more of oh, I feel safe here, right? And then in book 2, all of that development is just dismantled and she's back to where she started. It doesn't, the execution of her character was so fucking weird to me. As much as I love Tahara Mafi as a writer, I enjoy Tahara Mafi's writing style, what she did with Juliet was just not great. Especially for the fact that she was the main character of the Shatter Me series. I don't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. It just kind of was there, I suppose. I don't know, man. I really don't. But, here's something also that I wanted to touch on with the Shatter Me series. I know that, she starts off with Adam and, eventually goes on to Aaron. Is that his name? Aaron Warner? Yeah. I was spoiled for his name. If you were spoiled for his name, sorry. Not really that sorry, but still. And she ends up with Warner. And honestly, I immediately when I read the first Shatter Me book, I was immediately I want Warner to be Endgame. Because I don't know. Well, it's not that I don't know. It's the fact that characters like Warner are characters that immediately have a soft spot in my heart. Because he is in the same vein, in my opinion. He's in the same vein of Juman Han. What was it? It's Juman Han, Lucifer from Shatter Me, not Shatter Me, from Obey Me, the little Otome game. Who else? He kind of reminds me of a little bit of Karma from Assassination Classroom. Who else? And Nanami Kento. He's in the same vein of those characters, and who I affectionately call Christian Grey reboot characters, because they're all usually people who wear suits with very ruthless sadist attitudes, and those boys always have a soft spot in my heart. So I think that's why I liked Warner more than I liked Adam, because Adam just kind of like was flipping through the books. Kenji was the one who held most of the personality in Shatter Me, not gonna lie to you. Next, these are a pair of characters, Nessa and Delain from ACOTAR. God, do I have a lot to say about this. So I talked about my hatred for Nessa a couple of times, and my hatred of Nesta is why I'm not willing to read her book, because I honestly could not give any less of a fuck about like the trauma she went through, because she's so bad. She is such a horrible person. Like, literally, she chooses to favorite one sister over the other, ridicules the sister, her youngest sister, mind you, that is literally keeping their family alive while she flits about spending money that they don't fucking have. Right? And she takes out part of her anger on their crippled father. Like, she's mad at her dad that they're not rich anymore, so she hides his cane so he can't get up because his leg is fucked up. Nessa's a horrible person. Horrific, right? Absolutely horrific person. I couldn't give any less of a fuck. Cassian deserves better. Cassian deserves so much better than Nesta. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, yeah. Also, her little depresso espresso moments in, like, ACFAS, A Court of Frost and Starlight. What the fuck?
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real. No, you for fake. No, you for real.
What the fuck? What the fuck? You're literally sitting here, leeching off your sister again, because you blame her for getting thrown into the cauldron. Like, I don't, it's like, literally, Feyre has to bribe Nesta. Feyre has to bribe Nesta into coming to a party by saying, if you don't come to this party, I'm not going to pay your rent. Like, because Nesta isn't capable of working for herself, because Nesta is completely incapable of doing anything other than being a fucking leech. And then Elaine, she's weak as fuck, right? Elaine is weak as shit. Like, her being a seer, I get that, because that's literally the only thing she could possibly be doing to be useful. Like, literally, Elaine is so fucking useless. Like, she likes to garden, but she never thought of planting a vegetable. Like, she never thought of planting anything other than flowers. How absolutely fucking out of touch, entitled can you be? Like, actually, it's just like, oh, well, we were raised to be proper ladies. We didn't know how to do this. That's the excuse she gives Cassian when he calls them out on their bullshit. That is the excuse. And it is so ridiculous to me. Neither of these characters I care enough about to say anything nice about. Oh my God. Oh, and like, also, it doesn't help that for some reason, like, if I were Feyre, I would have cut them off. I would have never talked to either of them again. Literally, I would have found some other human family, intimidated them, being like, hey, we're Fae, do as we say. Like, they could have done that, but no, they went to her sisters. Like, honestly, the only part of Feyre's original family that I vibe with somewhat is her dad, because at least her dad actually fucking tried to provide for the family when they were literally dirt fucking poor. Like, he tried to sell his little carvings, even it didn't work, but he tried to do something, right? He tried to do something, and he cared enough about Feyre to say, hey, you're leaving, do not come back. We cannot be good to you. Do not come back for us. That is the attitude a parent should have, because they should know when the situation permits for their child to go to have a better life. Do we have that? Do we have that? Okay, cool. I don't know what the problem was with Feyre's sisters. I don't know why they were so useless. I don't know why they were so ridiculous. But honestly, I cannot respect either of them. And I will not be reading Nessa's book. And I won't be reading Elaine's book. Because, like, I just don't give enough of a fuck about their characters or seeing their, like, arcs to read those books. Also, A Court of Solar Flames is literally, like, I think, like, what, 800 pages? And I'm honestly not willing to read 800 pages of Nesta getting railed by Cassian. I'm just not gonna fucking do that, honestly. Because if she and Cassian want to be fuck buddies, that's an entirely different thing. But them entering a romantic relationship feels too far to me. Because literally, Nesta deserves nothing. Nesta deserves literally to boil in the cauldron for all of her Fae life, for all I fucking care. I forgot I put this one on the list. Kale from Throne of Glass. However, pre-development Kale. Right. So Kale after development, we adore. We love him. He's great, actually. After he, you know, gets his therapy, gets a girlfriend, all of that. It's great, right? But pre-development Kale is just a very different kind of person. Like, he's just, like, he starts off, like, nice enough. And then he develops into this kind of really, really whiny little bitch boy. And then he has the absolute audacity to call Aelin a monster when he was literally serving the king of Alderland faithfully for many years. Mind you, it was because of Dorian, but he knew what the king was like. And he also knew what Selena was like, or Aelin, whatever. And, you know, Dorian, our little rustic baby boy Dorian, quite literally goes, you can't choose which parts of her to love. You can't essentially change her to, like, mix and match to fit your view of her. This ain't Build-A-Bitch. Like, fucking ridiculous, man. Like, Kale pre-development is just such a whiny little bitch boy that I just, like, I find it funny, but I also hate him for it. I'm glad he got the development he needed, because honestly, he needed that entire book of development. He needed it. He needed some serious counseling. I'm happy he found a girlfriend in Yrene Towers, because, like, Yrene Towers is beautiful. Love her so much. But, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, pre-development Kale was an entirely different type of thing, man. He was a thing, man. He was a thing. And you want to know something? Because the next two characters are also a package deal. But we're going to talk about something a little bit before them, because they aren't as important as this right now. Essentially, Dane from Fourth Wing is pre-development Kale, except Kale did it better. And Dane is just annoying. Dane is annoying, and we know exactly where his shit is going. We all know exactly where that's going. Especially considering, well, okay, let me move on into Violet and Zaden from Fourth Wing. Okay, so we all know that I hate Fourth Wing as a book, right? But specifically, I hate Violet and Zaden specifically, and I honestly kind of hate them more than I hate the rest of the book. Like, them as characters. Let's start with Violet. Violet is, let me see, how would I describe her? Pick me. Okay, cool. Let's describe, Violet is a pick-me, and Zaden is, Shadow Boy, not TM, because Shadow Boy TM is Rhysand, and no one can repackage Rhysand and put him into some sort of, like, almost half prepubescent, like, almost adult, who rides a very interesting looking dragon. No. You are not going to disrespect my bad boy like that. You're not gonna fucking do that. But getting into why I hate these characters, like, obviously, Violet has, like, literally not even 3 personality traits. Like, at max, she has 2. She's, book smart and she's horny. That's it. She's book smart and she's horny. That's it. And then Zaden's just kind of, like, standing there like a bobblehead. Like, that's all I got from their entire thing. And, like, their entire relationship wasn't even, like... like, that shit was the most forced bull I have ever seen. Like, picture this. Picture this, right? Picture this. These 2 characters who have literally pretty much no reason to hate each other, because literally their entire reason to be enemies is through the sins of their parents. You know, their parents aren't completely opposite sides of this war. But that doesn't hold up when you realize that Zaden is has power in his rival military. Argument completely falls apart for their enemies to lovers type bullshit. And then the entire book, Violet is literally just yelling to anybody who will listen about how fucking hot Zaden is and how she wants to ride his fucking bones. It really makes me think that this man is literally the most average, generic background character I've ever fucking seen. And she's just trying to hype him up to make it not seem that way.
And you are...
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic Teenage... What the shit?
It's so fucking ridiculous. Oh, and also Violet just kind of, like, she does nothing. She's literally the most, like, typical, YA protagonist, like, I've ever fucking seen. It's like she's trying to be a mix. It's like she's trying to be a mix of, like, Selena Sardathian and, Feyre. But she's not doing it well because she's automatically good at everything. But she's kind of like Feyre in the way where it's just like, she has art skills. But nah, she's just really bad. She just draws some really interesting stick figures and everybody's like, oh my god, it's a masterpiece. Fucking stupid, man. And then Zaden doesn't even have a personality trait. Like, literally, he's just, like, he's, like, out here cosplaying, like, Rhysand. He's, like, out here trying to cosplay, like, both Rhysand and, Azriel in, like, the, like, smooth and broody, but, like, dark fairy prince who has this really epic dragon, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that fucking doesn't work when you don't put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, I genuinely despise. I kind of despise both of their characters because they aren't exactly characters. They're just kind of like hard work cutouts. That's what they look like to me. And then, like, I remember, because I went through, like, after the whole, like, storm with Iron Flame came out, I really, really wanted to see how people were perceiving this book. It was so fucking funny. Apparently, Zaden started getting annoying in the way that Dane was annoying. And, like, that's how I know exactly where Dane is ending up. We're gonna go with this. Serela. Specifically, Serela from Cursed. Like, I just... Okay, so here's the thing about Serela as a character. She's actually pretty decent in the first book. However, a lot of things go down that turn her into a very bad character in her second book. Let me break it down for you. So Serela starts off as actually a very good and well-rounded character. For the situation that she's in and everything. She's trying to, like, get out of this deal. She made a big fat mistake, in telling one of her stories. And now she has to get out of it, but she doesn't know how, so she has to seek help. And, like, in the process, she falls in love with the person who's actually helping her and spending time with him and all of that, blah, 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 blah. Right. My thing is, even though the story is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, the dumbest thing Serela did was get pregnant. That was the dumbest thing she could have possibly ever fucking done, because then it undoes everything about her character. Because in Cursed, she waits until I think 3/4 of the way into that book to tell Guild that the child that she's pregnant with is his. Okay. And like that pissed me off throughout the entirety of this book, because she kept going back and forth on whether or not to tell him about like what the Earl King could do to her. But the thing is, here's my fucking thing. Here is my fucking thing. Like, because the Earl King's entire leverage is he's going to harm the children that he killed in the first book. So, like, what can he do? Is he gonna harm their ghosts or some shit? Like what? Is he going to, like, poke their ghosts with, like, iron or something? I don't, like, all the Supernatural? Like, like, he doesn't have any leverage, pretty much. She's scared of him for no reason. Honestly, the Earl King was, like, pretty iconic, not gonna lie to you. But like, he had pretty much no leverage over her. That's the thing, because his entire leverage was, I'm going to harm these dead children that I killed and let you keep as attendants. What? That's such fucking bad reasoning. But she goes with it. She goes with that logic, and she just doesn't tell Guild anything. Anything. And then she gets him killed. What the fuck? Serela just went from being a really good character to just being ruined by absolute pure stupidity. And it's honestly the most ridiculous thing ever. Okay. This next character. Vivi. From the Cruel Prince series. Okay, let's go with this. Let me explain this. Vivi acts like she's literally above the truth. Vivi acts like she is above consequences. And the amount of friends that I have seen with this same mentality is absolutely astounding. Right? Vivi thinks she's exempt from like, you know, consequences because A, Maddox never punished her at all. And B, she thinks that if she just goes to be human, if she just doesn't tell Heather anything, like everything will work out fine, even though she's literally bringing Heather to the world of fairy. Right? And people in the real world have this kind of mentality, right? Specifically among people my age, people who seem to think that them being gay or them having some other sexuality other than being straight exempts them from any kind of criticism, from any kind of like consequence of their actions of being a shit person, and gets mad whenever they're called out on it. That is why I don't like Vivi. Right? Because she has this same attitude. And in my opinion, she didn't deserve the second chance that Heather gave her. #Heather rights. And that is as political as I'm ever gonna get on my channel, so like, don't say anything. I just don't like Vivi because she literally thinks she's exempt from consequences. And then when consequences hit her, she goes, oh my God, how could that have possibly happened?
Bitch, you better be joking.
Let us move on from Vivi because Vivi is just not everything. Not to me. No. And last on my list of characters I cannot stand. Emma from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Now, let me tell you something. I read the first 3 books of the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series like 3 times, right? I am very well acquainted with this character. I have not read the last 3 books. However, because I know that I would need to reread the first 3 books in order to read the next 3, right? The thing about Emma is that my sole reason for not liking Emma is kind of in the same vein of reasoning as to why I don't like Nina. She dated Jacob's grandfather, right? She was like, she and Jacob's grandfather were sweethearts, right? And then pretty much immediately, the moment Jacob just arrives, she kind of just like takes him. I don't know. Like, they immediately start having this kind of chemistry, which is weird because she's literally old enough to be his grandmother, and she probably would have been his grandmother, which is an interesting development if Emma had come with Jacob's grandfather when he left. She probably would have been Jacob's grandmother, right? But the only reason that Emma likes Jacob is because he looks like his grandfather. And that is gross. That's really, really gross. It's in the same vein of the internet boy moms being jealous that their sons have girlfriends because like she's not them. Like, that's the same vein as this, in my opinion, and it's disgusting. I don't like it. I really don't. It's just really fucking weird. And like, a lot of people haven't come across this really. However, if you read the books, it comes across as really weird, especially in the first book, because in the first book, they're really highlighting the fact that Emma and Jacob's grandfather had a connection. And then we see the connection between Jacob and Emma build up from there. While Emma also talks about Jacob's grandfather. It's just fucking weird. And I don't appreciate it. It's weird as hell. I don't like it. Anyways, guys, that brings this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I post a video. I post weekly on this channel, so don't miss out. Also, leave me comments down below what you'd like to see from me, what books I should put on my TBR, what books I should move up my TBR, or just say hi in the comments. Tell me what you're reading. I always get really excited when I see your guys' comments. It makes me feel so happy and appreciated. Anyways, guys, I love my Lumas. Bye!